Imagine a world shrouded in a perpetual haze, where the crisp edges of reality soften and fade. Imagine a world where the words on a page blur into an indistinguishable fog, where the intricate details of the world around you become lost in a sea of ambiguity. For most of recorded history, this blurry existence was the harsh reality for a significant portion of the population. Clear vision, something we often take for granted today, was a precious and elusive gift. As people aged, their eyes, once sharp and reliable, gradually lost the ability to focus on objects up close, a frustrating and debilitating decline that impacted every aspect of their lives. This age-related vision impairment is a condition we now know as presbyopia, a natural consequence of the aging process that affects the lens of the eye. This meant that skilled artisans, master craftsmen, and dedicated scholars, individuals whose livelihoods and passions depended on their keen eyesight, would inevitably find their most valuable tool, their eyes, gradually failing them, dimming their world and threatening their ability to continue their work. The world's accumulated knowledge, painstakingly written and preserved in countless scrolls and books, became increasingly inaccessible to those who had dedicated their entire lives to studying it, a cruel irony that robbed them of their intellectual pursuits. The fundamental human desire to see clearly, to perceive the world in sharp detail, is as old as humanity itself, an innate drive that has shaped our evolution and progress. Losing sight meant far more than just blurred vision. It meant losing independence, forfeiting the ability to contribute to society, and becoming increasingly reliant on others for even the simplest tasks. This problem was universal, transcending geographical boundaries and cultural differences, a silent and pervasive challenge faced by individuals in every corner of the globe. Driven by this innate desire for clear sight, people throughout history experimented with various methods, including looking through water-filled glass spheres, hoping to magnify and clarify their vision. They meticulously polished crystals, carefully shaping and refining them in the hope of unlocking their optical potential, hoping for a breakthrough that would restore clarity and sharpness to their world. While these early attempts weren't quite eyeglasses as we know them today, they represented the first tentative steps, the initial glimmers of an idea that would eventually revolutionize the way we see the world. The underlying quest was fundamentally about reclaiming a life filled with detail, a world where the intricate beauty of everyday objects could be appreciated once more. Mending fishing nets with precision, ensuring that no strand was out of place, weaving cloth with intricate patterns, creating textiles that were both functional and aesthetically pleasing, and accurately identifying medicinal herbs, relying on subtle visual cues to distinguish between beneficial plants and potentially harmful ones. In essence, clear vision was inextricably tied to survival, to the preservation of traditional crafts, and to the very fabric of culture itself. Before a true and effective solution was discovered, countless productive lives were tragically cut short, their potential unrealized due to the relentless dimming of their vision. The stage was now set, the need was undeniable, and the collective ingenuity of humanity was poised to deliver one of history's most transformative and impactful inventions. Long before spectacles became commonplace, before the convenience of modern vision correction, ancient civilizations were already deeply curious, beginning to explore the properties of light and the possibilities of magnification. They sought ways to understand and manipulate the world around them, driven by an innate desire to see more clearly. Seneca, the Roman philosopher in the 1st century AD, made a fascinating observation. He noticed that letters appeared significantly larger when viewed through a water-filled glass globe. This simple yet profound discovery hinted at the potential of curved surfaces to alter the path of light. This early experiment demonstrated that curved, transparent surfaces possessed the ability to bend light in a way that could aid the human eye, offering a glimpse into the world of optical manipulation. It was a crucial step in understanding how vision could be enhanced. Stories, perhaps embellished over time, tell of Emperor Nero using a polished emerald to watch gladiator games in the Colosseum. Whether this was primarily for vision correction, or perhaps more for the status and spectacle of it all, remains a topic of debate. It could have been a fashion statement, a symbol of power, or a genuine attempt to improve his sight. In these early days, people experimented with various materials, and they found that polished stones, particularly those like beryl or quartz, held promise. These stones were carefully cut and shaped into convex forms, allowing them to effectively magnify text and other small objects. the craftsmanship required was considerable, making these early lenses valuable possessions. These lapides ad legendum, literally, stones for reading, represented significant breakthroughs in assistive technology, even though their use was undeniably clumsy and far from ideal. The primary challenge was that you had to physically hold the stone in place while trying to read, which demanded a certain level of dexterity and coordination. This necessity made the reading process slow, deliberate, and somewhat cumbersome, a far cry from the effortless reading we often take for granted today. Consequently, such tools were largely limited to the wealthy and scholarly elite, those who had both the resources to acquire them and the time to dedicate to their use. The understanding of optics was still in its infancy, and the knowledge surrounding these magnifying stones was often intertwined with superstition, more akin to magic than to a systematic science. The fundamental question remained, why did a curved crystal possess the seemingly magical ability to make things appear larger? The underlying principles of refraction and light manipulation were not yet understood, but despite this lack of scientific explanation, the magnifying effect was undeniably real and observable. For a select few individuals, these polished stones offered a precious opportunity to regain access to the world of the written word, opening up new avenues for learning and intellectual exploration. These early experiments and rudimentary tools, though primitive by modern standards, were in fact the humble seeds from which a revolutionary technology, the technology of vision correction, would eventually blossom. In the Middle Ages, a time of profound intellectual pursuit, knowledge was a precious commodity, carefully guarded and meticulously preserved. Monks in monasteries served as the custodians of this knowledge, dedicating their lives to preserving ancient texts and expanding the collective understanding of the world. These centers of learning were vital in a time before the printing press. They accomplished this monumental task by painstakingly copying texts by hand, letter by letter, line by line. It was a slow, arduous process, demanding immense patience and unwavering focus. But as they aged, the fine print blurred before their eyes, a cruel irony for those dedicated to preserving the written word. The delicate strokes of ink seemed to fade, becoming increasingly difficult to discern. This decline in vision threatened their vital work, jeopardizing the preservation of invaluable knowledge. The monks faced a daunting challenge: how to continue their scholarly pursuits despite the limitations of aging eyes. The need for vision aids was acute, a pressing concern that demanded a solution. Without assistance, the monks' ability to copy and study texts would be severely compromised, and so the reading stone became essential, a revolutionary tool that offered a glimmer of hope to aging scholars. It was a simple yet ingenious invention that would transform the way they interacted with texts. Monks, with their knowledge of natural materials and optics, perfected plano-convex lenses from readily available resources like quartz or beryl, carefully shaping them to magnify the written word. These lenses were carefully placed on pages to magnify letters, enlarging the script and making it easier to read for those with failing eyesight. The reading stone brought clarity back to the blurred world of the aging scribe. This simple tool, born out of necessity, was nothing short of a miracle for the monks. It restored their ability to engage with texts, opening up a world of knowledge that had been slowly fading away. It allowed older monks to continue their vital duties, preserving their contributions to the intellectual life of the monastery. They could once again decipher the intricate details of ancient manuscripts. The use of reading stones quickly spread throughout the monastic community and beyond, becoming an indispensable tool for anyone struggling with vision impairment. This innovation played a crucial role in allowing wisdom to be passed down through generations, ensuring the continuity of knowledge and the preservation of cultural heritage. The reading stone, in its humble way, preserved intellectual heritage at a time when books were rare and knowledge was painstakingly handwritten. It was a testament to human ingenuity in the face of adversity. Still, these early lenses were not without their limitations. They were often heavy and cumbersome, requiring a steady hand to hold them in place. They had to be moved by hand across the page and offered only a small, magnified field of vision, making reading a somewhat laborious process. It was a single-purpose tool, designed solely for magnifying text, but its importance in the history of vision correction cannot be overstated. The reading stone, despite its limitations, was the direct ancestor of eyeglasses, paving the way for more sophisticated and convenient forms of vision correction. It proved beyond any doubt that shaped lenses could indeed correct vision, offering a tangible solution to a problem that had plagued humanity for centuries. And in doing so, it set the stage for the development of wearable solutions, forever changing the way we see the world and opening up new possibilities for learning and discovery. The true revolution arrived in late 13th century northern Italy, especially Venice and Pisa, centers of glassmaking. Venetian artisans created clear glass, crucial for effective lenses. In 1306, a friar in Florence mentioned the new art of making eyeglasses, placing the invention around 1286. The inventor's identity is lost, but the breakthrough was real. Early eyeglasses had two convex lenses in frames joined by a rivet, perched on the nose or held up. These rivet spectacles corrected presbyopia and were an instant success among the literate and elderly. For the first time, failing eyesight wasn't a life sentence. The invention spread rapidly, empowering a generation. A simple device, but its impact was monumental. After the first spectacles, design and comfort became the focus. Early models were clumsy, needing to be held or balanced on the nose. Over centuries, inventors experimented with new shapes and materials. Bow specs, lorgnettes, and lighter frames emerged, reflecting fashion and technology. Ribbons and strings were used to keep glasses in place, but comfort was still elusive. The breakthrough came in the 1720s with Edward Scarlett's rigid side arms, temples that rested over the ears. This elegant solution made glasses stable and practical for all-day wear. Scarlett's design became the standard for nearly 300 years. Eyeglasses became both functional and personal. Eyeglasses were more than a convenience, they reshaped society. Scholars and craftsmen could remain productive for decades longer. This extension of intellectual life fueled the Renaissance. Artists painted with precision, scientists made accurate observations, and the printing press found a ready audience. Eyeglasses empowered ordinary people, tailors, merchants, navigators. Productivity and literacy soared, breaking down barriers of aging. Glasses changed perceptions of age and wisdom. Older people could see sharply and contribute fully. Spectacles became symbols of intelligence and authority. The device democratized clear vision. It transformed the social meaning of aging. Eyeglasses extended human potential. The history of eyeglasses is marked by brilliant innovators. Johannes Kepler, in the 1600s, explained how the eye focuses light and how convex and concave lenses correct vision. His work allowed opticians to craft lenses for different problems, laying the foundation for optometry. Benjamin Franklin, tired of switching glasses, invented bifocals by combining two lenses in one frame. This simple solution let people see near and far with a tilt of the head. Franklin's bifocals improved life for many with complex vision needs. Later, George Biddle Airy created lenses for astigmatism. These pioneers transformed eyeglasses into sophisticated medical devices. Each innovation built on the last, expanding what glasses could do. The science of optics advanced rapidly. The 20th century brought an explosion of vision correction innovation. Eyeglasses became stylish and lightweight, but the real leap was contact lenses. Early glass lenses were uncomfortable, but plastic and then soft hydrophilic lenses made contacts practical for millions. Disposable, astigmatism-correcting, and bifocal contacts followed. For some, even contacts weren't enough. The dream was permanent correction. Refractive surgery began with Arcay, but the excimer laser changed everything. LASIK, developed in the 1980s, reshapes the cornea for lasting results. These procedures free people from glasses and contacts. Modern vision correction represents the pinnacle of our quest for perfect sight. The journey continues with new technologies. From polished stones to lasers, vision correction is a story of ingenuity. Eyeglasses unlocked generations of thinkers and artists, extending productive years and making knowledge accessible. Today, glasses are everywhere, tools and fashion statements alike. The principle remains, bending light to focus it on the retina. Innovations like contacts and laser surgery offer freedoms unimaginable to our ancestors. Each advance stands on the shoulders of the last, driven by curiosity and the desire to see clearly. Putting on glasses connects us to this long history. The quest for clear vision has shaped our world. So subscribe for more daily history.